This thing is not plugging.
Yeah, just start it again.
It's okay. ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूप स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य तोन्मयादितरतश्चार्थेषु विज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्म हृदय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य कलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजता दधोक्षजे आवेशतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter number 18, beginning from verse 37. We read how Kashyap was pleased by the service of his wife Diti. In the happy mood, he asked her if she had any boon to take from him. So Diti, of course, was waiting for this opportunity. And as I said, she was doing service with this motive. So when she was asked, she was very happy. She realized that her service has now fructified, given the desired result. So immediately she asked for what she was waiting. So she said, Diti said, Varado yadi me brahman putram indrahanam vrine amrityumrita putraham yena me khatito sutau. She said that, oh Brahman, if you want to give me the boon, then I choose that you give me a son who will be the killer of Indra. So she is using the proper word, Indrahanam, like the yajna which was done by father of Vishwarup, Prashta. They made a mistake. They got Vritrasura, who was killed by him, and the killer of Indra. So she says that you give me a son who will be the killer of Indra, and Amrityam, he should not be killed. Why? Why she is asking this? Vritaputra. Because a lady whose sons are dead. Then what is, why you want to kill Indra? And he says, Yename Bhakti also. Because he is the one who got them killed. So therefore now you want a son who can kill him. So Vishnu Chakravarti brings out the other meaning from this verse, because as we know from the story, Indra will not be killed. So he comments on the word Indrahanam. Says Indrahanam means killer of Indra, Indrahantaram. But the Han dhatu has two meanings. Han, Hinsa Gatyam. It means to kill, it also means to go. That's why from this Han dhatu only we have the word Jagan for the thigh. In Hindi you call it Janga, because you move with them. So in the Vedas there is a word which comes Gogna. So Gogna is translated as killer of cow. And modern scholars, they say that cow was killed because it's written when a guest came, then he was received by the Yajman, who is called Gogna, because he brought a cow and he killed the cow for the guest. The word Gogna means it's like Vritragna or Kansagna, Krishna's name, killer of Kansa. So Gogna means one. So they say that when the guest came, the cow was killed and they ate meat. But actually the meaning of Gogna is that the cow was brought. Because the Han dhatu also means to move, to go. So the meaning is that when a guest came, he was received with the cow. Because cow is considered as auspicious, like when a guest comes and you bring flowers, you do arti, and you also bring a cow. So that was a way to receive a guest. Not that the cow was killed.
That makes a lot more sense. As a guest, you want to see a cow get killed. Not really.
But that's how they translate it. Huh? You see, in the earlier days, these people were all eating cow meat. Now Hindus are saying we should not kill cows. So they want cow meat, so they promote it. And Veda is said as Kalptaru. Veda is a wish-fulfilling tree. So it uses words which you can also utilize for your benefit. So that's why it's important to know the grammar. Jayananda.
Yes.
So Han therefore he says Hanter Gati Arthatva. So he says the Han dhatu also means Gati, to go. So therefore Indrahanam means one who will follow Indra. Not one who will kill him. Because these Marutas, they will become follower of Indra. His sons will be born. So he says that is the meaning of this word. So he says Pakshe Indranugam and Amrityum Sarvair Avadhyam. The word Amrityum means that he will not be killed by anybody. But he gives another meaning because that did not happen. So he says, Pakshe Devatvat Amaram. So Devata, the Devas, the demigods, they are also called Amara. Amara Nirjara Deva. And of course, that's how it begins in the first sloka. So Devatas are also called Amara, or without death. So he says Amrityum means without death, which means actually Amara, which means Devas, because the Marutas, they became Devas. So that is the hidden meaning. So therefore his boon will not go wrong. You can say, okay, you will have a son like that. But the meaning which she is taking and the meaning what Kashyapa is taking, they are different. ऊनपंचाशद्भिर एकैव देवो मारुत इति एकवचनम्. So then the question may be that they were, what will be born are the 49 Marutas and Diti. But here it is used as singular. Amrityam, Indrahanam. So he says because this 49 they are treated like one. It's like the 4 Kumaras. So although there are 4, but they are treated as one. In the list of incarnations, avatars of Vishnu, they are not counted as 4 avatars. So in the same way, these 49 are treated as one, therefore ekvachana or similar case is used for them, there is nothing wrong. So this is what she asked. Now what is the reaction of Kashyapa? Says Nisamya tadvacho vipro vimanaha paryatapyata aho dharma sumahanadya me samupastitaha. So when that Brahmana, the husband of Diti, he heard this statement in which he was asking for a son, Indra. So he was very displeased. Vimana. He was inside very happy. You have the word Sumana. Your mind is pleased. That is Sumana. Sumanas. He also used word for the Devatas. That is very pleasing. The word also for a flower. You feel happy by seeing a nice flower. The opposite of that is Vimana. So not like a flower, but felt sad. And Paryatapyata, he lamented, he repented. Why did I ask her to take a boon from me? So you give the opportunity to unqualified people, you give them some power, and what they do, they will listen. So he basically gave her the power to choose. He has stock with him. He said, okay, you can take anything from my stock. Right? So she immediately said, I choose this to get Indra killed. So he was not happy. So inside he is thinking, oh, dharma sumana. He says, today I'm in a big troublesome situation. Because now he already said, take a boon from me. He cannot revert back. Otherwise his word will become false. And then nobody will trust him. So Brahmana is very truthful. This is one of the characteristics of divine people, that they are truthful. What they say, they do that. But at the same time, to give a boon, which means to kill Indra, that is not something he likes. Indra is probably one of the best sons he had. And he is the king of the gods. He is an honorable person, and to get him killed by giving a boon to his wife, how can he do that? How can a father give boon to kill his own son? Who is a worthy son? So he says, now I am in a dharma, this is called dharma sankat. Or a situation where you have to make a decision, and whichever you go take a decision, you do some irreligious act. If he backs out, that is an irreligious act. If he gives the boon, that is also irreligious. So what is to be done in such a situation? So sometimes situations come in our life where you have option and both options are problematic. It's like when Arjuna he caught Ashwatthama. After Ashwatthama has released Brahmastra to kill, no, this is actually before releasing Brahmastra, and he has killed 5 sons of Draupadi. Then he chased him and he caught him. And before he left for chasing, he gave the word to Draupadi that he will bring the head of Ashwatthama. On this he can stand and take bath. So Kshatriyas are like that. So he did not kill, he brought him. And when he brought him, then Draupadi said that no, don't kill him. Esha Bhagavan Drona Praja. What is the word? Esha Bhagavan Drona Praja Rupena Vartate. He said that this is Bhagavan Drona, the teacher of Arjuna, who is standing Praja Rupena in the form of his son. So how can he kill him? And I am suffering because my sons are killed. I don't want that creepy. The mother of Ashwatthama also suffers like me. We kill them, she will also suffer. So I don't want that. So this is not like what we see here. Diti wants that Indra should be killed because Indra got his 2 sons killed. Draupadi's 5 sons were killed, and Ashwatthama is right in front, and his head can be chopped off, and he says, no, don't do that. So that is the divine quality. And Diti is a materialistic mind, taking revenge. This is the distinction. So Draupadi is forgiving, he says, no, my 5 sons are killed by him. By killing him, I am not going to get my sons back. So what is the use? Rather, I will bring misery to his mother. So then Krishna, he asked Arjuna that you kill because you have to fulfill the promise. And Draupadi is saying, no, don't kill. And Bhima was also saying, kill him. So then Krishna said, you have to satisfy both parties now. Because if he does not kill, then he is not doing what Bhima is saying, and he is going against his own word. And if he kills, then he is going against Draupadi. And also Yudhishthira was saying, don't kill. So what is to be done? This is called dharma sankat. So he had a solution. Then he removed the jewel from the head of Ashwatthama. Ashwatthama was born with a jewel on his head and cut his hair and then kicked him away. So that was as good as killing him and simultaneously not killing. So he killed and not killed. So sometimes situations come when one has to be very judicious in making a decision. Otherwise one has to repent later on. So now Kashyapa is also in a similar situation. he does not want that Indra should be killed. And at the same time, he does not want to go back on his promise. So therefore he finds a middle way. Madhyam. What is called Madhyam Nikaya.
What?
Madhyam Nikaya.
Madhyama Nikaya?
Buddhism.
Yeah.
Middle path.
Yeah.
So we will see. So this is what Bhagavatam is teaching. Because we also face situations like this in our life. So we have to be very thoughtful. Aho adindriya ramo yoshinmaya iha mayaya grihita cheta prapunah pratishena kedhubam. So now he is blaming himself. Vimana iti diter ipsito arthastu indramarnam vinana sambhavet. So the word Vimana means that he cannot fulfill the desire of Diti without killing Indra. And therefore he was not happy. So now Kashyapa, he did not start blaming Diti. Usual tendency is that we blame others. He blames himself. He says, just see what a sense enjoyer I am. And therefore I am in trouble. So sense enjoyment only brings trouble. Never anything good which comes out of it. Unless one becomes renounced after going through it and some discrimination comes into it. Otherwise Krishna says, yehi sansparsja bhoga dukkha yone adyanta vante konte nateshu ramte buddha. That all these sansparsja bhoga, sense pleasures, they are a source of suffering. The suffering which we go through is all because of sense pleasure. There is no other reason for suffering. So, yehi sansparsja bhoga dukkha yone eva. And dukkha yone eva means that they are only source of suffering. Because sometimes you get also sweet fruit and the bitter fruit. He said that it's only the suffering which comes from it. We don't realize it. So he said, therefore those who are intelligent people, Buddha, this is the sign of intelligence. Sometimes people say intelligent person is one who has money in his pocket. That is also intelligence. Definitely needs intelligence, especially in this day and age, to get little money. There is so much competition for it. But higher intelligence is when one is not interested in sense. Nateshu ramte buddha. So ramte means becoming absorbed. Sense objects we need. Yavat jivat. For life we need something. But not that you become captivated by them. That is the meaning of ramate, Raman. You completely drown in them. So don't become Indriya Raman. Completely sense enjoyer. So therefore he is saying Indriya Rama. Oh, the Indriya Ramo, Yoshin Maya, Maya. He says that Maya has come to me in the form of woman. Because I became captured by her, and Grihita Cheta, she completely possessed my mind. So he says, today I'm going to fall into hell for sure. Patisya narke dhruvam. There is no doubt. Why I am going to fall in hell? Hell, falling into hell means I will suffer. The suffering already started. It's already suffering. It says, because I give the boon, then I will suffer. And if I don't give, then I will suffer. So it says, definitely, I have got into trouble because of enjoyment. कोतिक्रमो अनुवर्तन्त्या स्वभावं हि योषितः धिम्मां बता बुधं स्वार्थे यदहं त्वजितेन्द्रियः. So he says that there is no fault on part of Diti because she has just followed her nature. It is not her mistake what she is doing. He says she is just following the nature of a woman. So, svabhavami yoshita anuvartantya kotika. So there is no point in blaming her, finding fault with her. So, svabhava prakritim yanti bhutani nigrahatim kalishati sadrisam cheshte swasya prakriti jnanvana. So people follow their nature, she is following, so what to blame? But the problem is with me because I can control. So he says, I am ajitendriya, I don't have control over my senses. And being mom, so therefore he is cursing himself, he on me. Yadaham, but avudham swarthe, I am foolish, I am stupid. Avudham means I am a fool because I am ajitendriya. Tadasya harti pragya vayurnavam. So if our senses are not in control, even one of them, then it takes away our pragya. That's how you do pragya prad. Those who studied Ayurveda, so you know that there is the cause of suffering in Ayurveda is rooted in pragya prad, or misuse of intelligence. Misuse means not using it properly, means leaving it, let it be slave of the mind. So pragyaprad is considered as the major cause of diseases, according to Ayurveda. So Krishna also says this, tadasya harati pragyam. So just like if there is a boat in the river, there is a wind blowing and there is no one in control, then it flows with the wind, wherever the wind takes it. It's just a sailboat. So like that, the senses, they take away one's intelligence and then the person just follows them. So you say that's what has happened to me because I did not use my intelligence. God is calling himself as a Buddha. Because Krishna says, Na tesu ramte buddha. That a Buddha, an intelligent person, does not fall for sense pleasure, but he did fall. So he is calling himself as a Buddha. So, atikramo, aparadha, the word atikrama means aparadha, defect, flaw. Karyam means trijate svabhava eva tamanuvartanya. So this is the nature of woman. It's the ability to take revenge. And she is following that, so what is her defect in that? But now he is seeing the real. Previously he was only seeing the external part of woman. Now he is seeing the internal part in the next few verses. Because he did not realize that this is what was going on. So he says, Sarat Padmotsavam Vaktram Vachascha Shravanamritam Hridayam Kshuradharadham Prinam Ko Veda Cheshtitam. So he says that.
Didn't put this verse in your book, did you?
I didn't understand it.
So this is a problematic verse. Maybe you can skip it. Otherwise I have to defend now. Okay, let me see how I fare with it. So he says that women, they have face just like the lotus which blooms in the autumn season. Autumn? The fall season? So that is the time the lotus will bloom very nicely. So he says they have a face like this, very attractive, very nice, smiling. And Vachascha Shravanamritam. And their words, they are just like ambrosia for the ears. That you like to hear, nice voice. Women have nice voice, they can sing nicely. But
now's the time to go on to the next verse.
you can stop here. But it says that in the heart, Hridayam Shuradharam, there is a knife, very sharp, Shuradharam, and therefore who can know the mind of a woman? So of course he is talking about his wife, because at that time he felt like this, that look at my wife, she is so beautiful, and she was speaking very nice, pleasing, kind words, affectionate, and just see what is coming out now. How cruel. So he says, I didn't know this. So therefore he says, Ko Veda Cheshtitam. Who can actually know what is their intention? You know the story about Kunti, that she kept the secret that Karna is the son of Kunti. And she revealed it only when everybody was dead and they were giving water in the Ganga and population, Udarka. And then she told Yudhishthira that please give some water to Karna also. So Yudhishthira said, why have to give to Karna? He was our enemy. So she became very grave and says, no, he is your brother. And when Yudhishthira heard this, he was shocked. He says, what? He said, yes, he was your brother, he was the eldest of you. So when Yudhishthira heard this, he was very pained in the heart and said, if you would have told me this, we would not have fought, I would have made him the king. I would have offered my crown at his feet. What was the need for this war? Why didn't you tell us? So then he cursed that now, from now onwards, women will not be able to keep my secret. So therefore, for a woman, there are two troublesome things: a dead phone and a secret. If they have a secret to tell and the telephone is not working, then this is great trouble to them. They have done survey that when men speak on the phone, how long they spend? Average few minutes. And when a woman talks, it's 15-20 minutes. So therefore he says that Ko Veda Cheshtitam, that who can know. This is of course before Yudhishthira gave the curse. So she was able to keep it inside for long. At This is her intention. So there is a very famous saying, I don't know from where it is, that Striyas charitram purushasya bhagyam devana janati kuto manushya. That the intention of a woman and the fate of a man, even the gods cannot predict, what to speak of human beings. So many times people depend on astrology. But astrology is only a probability. It's not 100% truth. So many predictions go wrong. So we should not put too much faith in it. So he said that even the devas, they cannot tell. So Shanodhunna janami kim vidhata vidhasyati. I don't know even one moment from now what will happen. Really speaking, nobody knows exactly. So therefore he said that Koveda Cheshtutam. And now I think his anger is coming on her. So he doesn't stop. And he blames the whole womanhood for that. So that's how we have to understand when he is making this statement. Because this is how Shastra should be understood. Not that it can take out these verses and start quoting, look what Bhagavatam is saying about the woman. No, this is not Bhagavatam saying about woman, this is Kashyapa speaking when he is in an upset mood. He is not speaking when he is in a normal state of mind and giving a talk about women. If he was doing that, then we can take his words seriously. But when he is speaking, when he is in a dharma sankat, and we saw that he was in a problematic situation and the problem is he is put in the problematic situation by a woman, then naturally he speaks about woman. So there may be some truth in that, but not that this is the statement of Bhagavatam. So therefore Vallabhacharya, you are reading Vallabhacharya's commentary last Sunday in the first verse. And he says that there are, in his Bhagavad Tattva Deep Nibbana, he says that in Bhagavatam there are 3 types of bhasha. Samadhi bhasha hi pratma, vyasasya mitresa, lokaki matantarasya. He says that there is Samadhi bhasha of Vyasa, there is Laukiki bhasha, and then there is a matantara, others' opinion. So that we have to be very careful. There are statements which are absolute truth, with the Samadhi Vasa of Vyas. And then there are opinions of other people also. Like Sukadeva Goswami is saying, when there was a war, when Krishna was fighting with Shalva, and then Shalva suddenly disappeared, and then he comes in front of Krishna and he is having Vasudeva captivated, and he cuts off Vasudeva's, Krishna's father's head right in front of him. And then Krishna, he like swoons out of grief. So then, after saying this, Sukadeva says that some people say like that. So Nunam Vadati Rajan Keshan Nanuanvita. And they speak incoherent words like this. And Swavacho, what they have said before, Nasmaranti Uta, they don't remember what has been said. This means what has been said about Krishna, that he is from Bhagavatam, all these things, they forget that and they think that he can be bewildered by the Maya of Shalva. Similar statement, so these are not Bhagavatam's opinion, these are not opinion of Sukadeva. Therefore the stories have to be taken in that sense. So similarly, these statements which are made here, this is Kashyapa speaking, and this is not Sukadeva saying, or Sut Goswami speaking, but it's coming from the mouth of Kashyapa, and he is put into trouble by his wife. So that anyone can do, woman can do, man can also do that. They do it all the time. So therefore it says, Nahi kaschit priyas trinam anjasa swashishat manam pati putram bhratram va bhanti arte ghatiyanti cha. So he says that no one is dear to women. Swa ashisha atmanam patim putram, if they are attached to their own desires, and they can kill their own son, husband or brother, or they can get them killed. And the reason for this is Swa Ashisha Atmana. And that is the important word here. So Swa Ashisha Atmana means those who are attached to their own desire, their own happiness. And whoever that may be, man or woman, anyone who is very much attached to their own material happiness, material pleasure, then they can do anything which comes in as an obstacle to that. So we see that people kill their own sons or their own parents or their brothers and sisters for that reason. Or they get them killed, they don't kill themselves. So women also do that. So, right. So after saying this, says स्वभावम एव आश्रदिति स्वस्य आशिषा कामनया एव आत्मा यत्नो याशाम नति पत्यादि सुखपेक्षया इति भाव. So he says those whose mind or whose heart is attached to their own happiness only, their own pleasure, and they make an effort for that, so they can do anything. Alok samasa ashisha sabdan stavantava. So then what he did, now he says prati shrutam dadami iti vachastandam risha bhavet vadham narhati chendropi tatra idam apakalpate. So he thought that I am going to give her a boon because I promised. Pratishrutam means I promised her. Pratishrutam, therefore I will give. And therefore my promise will not go false, untruthful. My word will remain true. And at the same time, Indra should not be killed. Vadam narhati chendropi tatra idam utkalpate. I will make some jugaad. I will find some way, some means that both can be satisfied. That I give her the boon and at the same time she will not get a son who will kill her. Tatra idam utkalpate yogyam bhavati says this has to be done properly. I am bhava. So meaning is as follows. Vaishnavam vratam tavad updekshyami. Says that I am going to instruct her to follow Vaishnava vrata. Vrata to please Lord Vishnu. Means he is going to engage her in devotional activity. Although on the pretext of getting a son to kill Indra. So Sakam Bhakti. And even that Sakam Bhakti will purify her heart. So Tene Vasya Chitta Suddhau Satyam Indre Prodho Nivartisya. And And when her heart will be purified by that, then her anger towards Indra will be quelled. So she will not remain angry, upset, disturbed on Indra. So this is the process technique used. Tatasya Indra vadham anakankshtyani abhitasya vaishnavratasya kamita duspaladana anarhatvat nendra ghati bhavishyati kintu vara prarthana pradana vakya arhanti dhatu priyogad hantesya gatyarthatvat indra anugo amaraputra bhavishyati. So therefore he says that then she will not desire the death of Indra when the heart is purified. And then the Vaishnava Vrata will give the fruit, but not fruit in the form of killer of Indra, but he will give the fruit in the form of son who will become a follower of Indra by using the other meaning of the verb. And dhatu, which we discussed, that dhatu also means to go. So he says, Hanti dhatu priyogad hantesya gatyar tattvat Indra anuga, the follower of Indra, Amara, one who will not be killed. That will be the son of Diti. And vratasya dirgha kalatve sati avashyam vagunyam cha kinchit bhavishyati. So I will tell her to perform a vrata for a long time, and I will put conditions that this vrata has to be followed with this much conditions, and if you can follow, then you will get your result. But she is bound to make a mistake, because if you have to follow something very meticulously for a long time, then there are good chances